Hello, welcome to my channel and thank you for tuning into this video. Today I'm doing a perfected skin, no makeup type makeup look, but amplified a little bit. And I'm featuring this Westman Atelier Superloaded Tinted Highlighter in the shade Peau de Peche. So I'll be providing a little bit of a review on this product as well as showing you my preferred way to use this. And I'll also be talking a little bit more about these two Westman Atelier brushes, the blender brush and the powder brush. So if you'd like to see all of that, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm actually going to be using a powder foundation as my main foundation today. So I'm going to use the Fenty one. But when I use this, I like to put concealer on first so I can add coverage where I need to before I add that powder foundation. So I'm just taking my Kosas concealer in the shade 0.5 and just going to put that on where I feel that I need a little more coverage, the usual spots around the nose, on any blemishes or healing blemishes, and a little bit extra just where I have some more redness, which can be on the cheeks, and where I have that big freckle that I like to tone down a little bit. And of course, under the eyes. So I'm just taking my little brush and blending that in. And I've mentioned before that I like to leave the parts that I want a little more coverage on from my concealer, leave those parts until the end and start with blending out the parts I'm less concerned about. So I am doing that today. But what I also like to do is with those spots that I'm letting it sit for a while, I can kind of half blend it out, you know, press it out a little bit and just sort of blend around the edges. So that helps it to sort of dry down even a little bit faster and bring you that coverage a little bit faster. It also allows you to pick up a little bit of excess on your brush, which you can borrow it from those spots and throw that on anywhere that you wanted just a little bit more concealer. My skin seems to have calmed down quite a bit in the last couple of days, so I'm happy about that. I was going through some stuff before that. I was trying a new chemical sunscreen, and I think that might have broken me out a bit. So even this with just the concealer is a really nice base. So even if you wanted to just leave it like this, I think that would be fine. If you have a good concealer that's giving you the coverage that you want and the tone that you want, that blends into your skin without having to put it all over the face, that can be a great and easy little base as well. But I am going to go in with the foundation and using the same brush that I showed in my review of this Fenty foundation, the Sonia G mini base from her Keyaki set. And I've chosen this foundation for this look for a few reasons. One is the tone. It's a very nice tone, a nice match for my skin tone. And I feel it can even everything out and brighten my skin a little bit. I also like the finish of it for this type of a look. It is a soft matte. So it does mattify a little bit, but not too much, and gives a nice natural matte finish, I would say. And the fact that it's powder also helps me to be able to control my placement and blending of the cream highlight product. So I like that aspect of it as well. And it's not too high coverage, so it gives me a nice light medium to medium coverage, which I think is perfect for me for if I'm doing this sort of perfected skin look, but I still want it to look very natural and lean toward the no makeup type of makeup. So here we have the foundation on. I do have to say it's really perfected my skin a lot. And I'm not going to be putting any bronzer on my face, but I just want a little bit of bronzer on my chin just to give a little bit of a contour and tone down the double chin a little bit. So I'm using my Tom Ford Terra and the classic face brush, also from the Sonia Keyaki set. And just putting it on my chin, but I'm not really going to draw it down onto my neck or anything. It's really just to provide that bit of shadow. And then no additional product on this brush, but just sort of blending around the edges to make sure that there aren't any harsh lines there. And I know I said I wasn't going to put any bronzer on my face, but I am going to do my little shading around the lips. So same bronzer and just a little tiny pencil brush. And just outlining the lips with that. There we go. And then sometimes I like to just pat it out a little bit. Okay. Now I think I'm ready to move on to the actual cheeks. So I wanted to talk about these two brushes a little bit more in this video. This is the blender brush from Westman Atelier. I've used this in lots of videos before, and this is my favorite foundation brush. It was created to go with the Superloaded tinted highlighter, and I've tried the two together, but this brush isn't my favorite for this because I just think it covers it's a little too big, and it's a little bit too difficult to control my placement of this product with this brush for me. So I prefer to just reserve it for foundation, and it's great for foundation. This one is the powder brush. I wanted to talk a little bit about synthetic versus natural fiber brushes. To me, I generally prefer natural fiber brushes for the feeling and the effect that they give, but I prefer them mainly for powder products. When it comes to foundations or liquids or creams, I actually appreciate synthetic brushes more. I know that the bristles are going to hold up, and I know that they're not going to absorb too much of whatever product I'm using, and I don't have to worry about the dyed versus undyed. So you could use undyed goat hair brushes for cream products, but I still am a little bit concerned about that breaking down the bristles a little bit, and when I use liquid and cream products, I tend to like to wash my brushes more. With the synthetics, I just don't have to worry about overwashing them, especially with ones that are really good quality like these Westman Atelier ones. These are made in Japan like all the best brushes are, and you can tell that they're very good quality. The bristles are very soft, and I've found that with a few washes, they've become even softer and more flexible and pliable, which I'm really happy about. And I think that for synthetic brushes, these ones are really great. But to me, when it comes to powders, they don't even compare with natural hair bristles. That's just my experience and my preference for powders. But for creams, these are great. And so I'm gonna go right into my Superloaded tinted highlighter. This is in the shade Peau de Peche. Let me show you a little swatch. So when you look at it, I find from some angles it can look a little bit brown in its undertone, but from other angles you can see a little bit more of that brightness from the peach tones. And when it goes on the face, it's really quite an amazing product. It's sort of your 3-in-1 cheek product, so it's gonna serve as bronzer, blush, and highlighter. At least that's how it works for me. And it's almost like it adapts to the placement. So you know, where you would put bronzer, it looks a little bit more bronzy in tone, and then on the more apples of the cheeks and where you would place your blush, it looks a little bit rosier in tone, and of course it has that beautiful shine throughout, so it's gonna give a nice glassy highlighter type effect all over where you put it. I love this powder brush with it because I find that it's small enough that I can have a bit more control over my placement. And it's fluffy too, so it allows me to really blend out the product really nicely. And the flexibility is great too. It keeps it again, more blendable and feels really nice and soft on the cheeks. And because it's sort of oval shaped like this, it's great for that bronzing area as well, because it can really get into the hollow area of the cheek. So I just like to continue with this and just build up the product on the cheeks as much as I want to. Just grabbing a bigger mirror here so it's a little easier for me to see my whole face. And as I mentioned earlier, because I have that powder foundation down, because of that powder base, it helps me to really control this product. I found that when I was putting it on over the Westman Atelier foundation and mixing it with some of those other cream products from the brand, it was just sort of, I wouldn't say sliding around, but spreading out a little bit more than I wanted it to, and taking over more of my face than I wanted. So that's why I've found that this method is really nice. So I'm also putting it up on my temples, same place that I would put bronzer, and then usually top off with a little blush as well. And I'll even do a little sort of pseudo nose shading, nose contouring. And also just sweep some of that excess just over the bridge of the nose. And I'll just pop it a little bit on the chin where I had already put some of that bronzer, just to add that cohesiveness all over the face. I might top it up a little bit more later, but I want to move on to the eyes now. So to put this on my eyes, I just go in with my finger and basically put it all over the lid. It's interesting on the eyes. I find sometimes it creases on me and sometimes it doesn't. I think the more I layer on, the more prone it is to creasing. But it's not, to me, it's not a bad creasing. It's kind of along the lines of those Rowan shadows. If you've ever tried the Rowan cream eyeshadows, they crease as well, but they're kind of meant to be like that. It's just sort of part of the look. And if you don't like that, the creases pat out super easily, both with the Rowan and with this product here. I find it does set down on my cheeks after, if it's on top of a powder, it sets down quite quickly, like it's already setting. I would say within 10 minutes, it'll be completely set on my cheeks. But I think just because I'm layering much thicker layer of the product onto my eyelids, it doesn't set down quite as easily there. And you could certainly leave this just right here. You've got a little bit of a flush, but the skin is still perfected, and you have that bit of a no makeup effect. For me, I'm just gonna add a little bit more. It's not quite no makeup, but it's close. And I just want to amplify the look a little bit. So I'm going to take this little pencil brush again, going into the highlight, and I'm gonna pull a little bit along my lower lash line. I find it just adds a little bit of a shading there. Again, nothing too dramatic, but a little bit more defining on the eye. And I find that the tone and the finish of this product works so well for this type of a look because it's close to skin tones, and it has skin-like undertones in it. And I think that would hold true for at least fair, light to medium, and maybe medium skin tones, where it's just adding a little bit of an extra something, but it's still quite natural in the way it looks. And I think that the finish aids in that as well, because it's such a nice glowy sort of shiny finish. It can look really skin-like, but also enhances the skin and adds that little bit of light and freshness to the skin. So I'm just sort of topping up on my cheeks there and making sure that the eyeshadow is nice and blended. And then I like to define my eyes a bit more, and I like to use a brown liner on my upper waterline. Today I'm using the Chantecaille Lustre Glide Silk-Infused Eyeliner. This is in the shade Jasper, which is kind of a warm brown shade. And I love this eyeliner because it doesn't smudge. So it's especially good if you're using an emollient cream eyeshadow like this one, because I know that it's not going to get messy and I don't have to worry about cleaning up if it smudges or anything like that. And it also lasts really well throughout the day. Once it's on there, it's going to stay. Okay, so already just with that, I think that adds a really nice definition to the eyes. But I want to go in with mascara as well. And for this look, I love the Chanel Metal Terracotta mascara. I think any brownish, sort of off black mascara would work great for this look, just because it's going to give you a little bit of a more natural color. And I find this tone just goes really well with this peach shade and with the warm brown liner as well. And I think it's these types of light eye looks that can allow this color of mascara to really show off, because it doesn't show up as well if you have a darker or more dramatic eye look going on. And I've actually found with this mascara that it has improved after a few uses. I always hear people talking about mascaras getting better once they've just dried up just a little bit. And I had never really experienced that until I experienced it with this one. And I'm finding it holds and it catches and sticks onto the lashes a lot better now that it's just slightly dried up a little bit. I'm almost finished. I just want to do the lips now. For the lips, I'm going to be using the Victoria Beckham 02 lip liner. It's kind of a nude, peachy brownie type color. And I'm gonna put this all over my lips. When I'm doing liner all over the lips, I like to make sure that my lips are pretty well moisturized. So I had a balm on earlier. It's mostly worn down. Yeah, I can't feel any balminess on my lips anymore, but they're still moisturized. And I feel that that's the best way to go in with a liner all over. So this is what the lips look like with just this lip pencil. And I patted it out a little bit with my finger, and I'm just going to take that extra and just really lightly tap it right on the apples of my cheeks. I really like blush, so I like to sometimes intensify the color there a little bit, but that's totally not necessary. That's just personal preference, and because I had it on my fingers already, I figured I might as well use it. So you could stop right here, or if you wanted a little bit more moisture and glossiness on the lips, you could use a nude type lip balm. And so I'm gonna throw a little bit of this Fenty cream lip gloss in the shade Fenty Glow. Just a tiny little bit. I just put a little bit on the center because I don't personally really like to have very glossy lips. So just a little bit adds that little bit of moisture, little tiny bit of shininess. So it's really hard, I think, for the true finish of this product to show up on the camera. I'm just in natural light here. I don't have any big lights, reflecting off my face or anything like that. So it doesn't quite pick up, but when you're in real life, and especially when you're in natural sunlight that's all around you, this product looks so amazing, and it does give, just much like the lit up highlight stick, a really glassy skin look. And again, it lasts all day as well. I think it's just such a great product because it's very easy to use. It covers all your bases in terms of your color products on your face. and it's very special, I think. I didn't mention, this is the only one of the Westman Atelier products that I've encountered so far that has a scent. It has sort of a tropical, coconutty, tropical fruit type scent. Not my favorite, but I don't find it too strong, and I've gotten used to it actually over the last week plus of using this, so it doesn't bother me, but I just wanted to let you know that it does have a scent. I would really love to try the Peau de Rose shade of this now, knowing how much I like the formula. And I think that I could get a similar type of effect and type of look with the rose one. It would just be more of a rosy sort of English rose type look, whereas this is a more natural peachy kind of look. So I think that's about it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions or any comments. You can leave those below. And if you'd like to see more from me, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.